Hey guys, my name is Anu Rousey. I am the creator of AvatarEnglish.com, and in today's video I'm going to give you lots of advice on how you can help your children learn English at home. This advice actually is great if you're trying to teach your kids anything at home, but because I'm an English teacher, I'm going to focus on English. Now, are your kids struggling with English? Are they excelling in English and looking for the next level? Or are you just looking for fun ways to practice English at home with your kids? Well, don't worry, because in this video, I've got all the help you're going to need. Okay, so the first piece of advice I have for you is to discover what your children love and what is amazing for them. My first question when I walk into a new class is, what do you like? What do you love? Why do you want to learn English? And the responses I get are incredible. People tell me how they want to learn how to ride horses and become a professional horse rider, and maybe they need to do an interview when they're older and it's going to be in English, so they need to learn. Wow! Other people have told me that they want to learn how to paint nails on different TikTok videos, and they need to be able to listen to English to understand the video. Wow! Other kids have told me, obviously, that they're going to be the next Lionel Messi and that they need to be able to speak English so they can get to play for the best football team in the world, like Liverpool. And so there can be so many reasons why kids want to learn English, and you have to find out what it is. And once you find out what it is, you'll find that motivational factor, the thing that really connects with them, the reason why they want to learn. Many times kids go to school and they're told they have to learn English and they have to learn the grammar and they have to learn the vocabulary. But very few times the teachers or parents ask them, why do you want to learn English? What's important to you? How is English going to serve your life? And once we discover that, once the kid discovers that, then they can make their own path and their own motivational reasons of why they want to learn English. And that is the number one goal. When kids realize why English is important to them, everything else is easier from there on. If kids don't know why it's important to them or how it connects to their lives, you're always going to have a difficulty. It's always going to be an uphill struggle. So that's why it's so important to discover what is important to your children, what they love, and why they want to learn English. Now the next thing, and this is quite difficult, is making English as fun as possible. Once you discover what they love, then you can start focusing the study on the things that they really like. So you can study about horse riding techniques if your child loves horse riding. You can discover about skateboarding tricks if your kid loves skateboarding. You can listen to interviews with their favorite sports stars. The options today are endless. And maybe your child is using TikTok or Instagram or some kind of social media, and you feel a little bit scared by these social media services. Please don't worry, there is so much gold waiting there. You can learn anything on the internet today. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok all have hundreds of thousands of videos that can teach you anything about anything. So it's really how to use the tool properly. And believe me, your child probably already knows. So ask your child, hey, where are you watching videos? What are you doing to learn about whatever's interesting for you? Let's have a look together. Let's see what's happening. And this way you get a little bit of insight into their lives and see who they're watching, who's interesting for them. Another thing that I always do is I always start my classes with a game. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen a big movie recently, but every movie starts with a bang. It starts with something entertaining, and there is a very good reason for this, because if you don't get the attention of your viewer in the first 5 minutes, you basically won't get it at any point, and you'll always be fighting to get the attention back. So always start with a fun game and a fun activity. That's why I created games and activities on Avatar English, actually. This was the main reason to create fun education. Now, what's more fun than a game? There are so many games you can play to learn English. It's phenomenal. And I've created hundreds more to help you learn certain things about grammar and vocabulary. But if you're going to learn English at home with your kids, remember to keep it fun. They've just spent the whole day at school doing education. So we need to focus now on fun and enjoyment, on making it serve for your kids. One of the best things you can do at home is let your kids teach you. Kids have taught me things that I could have never imagined before, or I never would have looked at before. I've had one boy teach me about how to cut the nail of a horse. I've had another student teach me about things about science that I never knew before, or about maths, or about things that weren't interesting to me, but they were super interesting to the child. I had a child teach me how to make knife handles before. I mean, some of the stuff just blows my mind, and you never know what a kid is going to teach you until you give them the opportunity. Remember, your child has spent the whole day at school, and that means that somebody has been telling them things all day. What we look for as humans is the ability to express and teach things. So it's much better that we give the kids the opportunity to do that when they come home. Allow them to teach you something new. Allow them to teach you about something that's really interesting for them. You don't have to love it, you just have to pretend to love it. Or just show interest, or just be present. And this way, you'll get them talking about the things that are important to them. And they'll get the ability to express their opinions about things that they like. Maybe you already know the information. If you are a good actor, I recommend, or actress, I recommend that you just play dumb sometimes and let them teach you about something you already know, and just be like, oh wow, I didn't know that, thank you very much. But give them the opportunity to teach you something. Try not to then teach them something else on top of that. Just allow them to take the teacher role and you to take the student role, and just sit there and listen for a while. Now, a big one, and this is funny that an English teacher should say this, but choose your words wisely. Yes, choose your words wisely. Don't say education or study, say games and activities. Remember, your child has just been to school all day. They've just been studying and doing education all day. They probably have homework. So if the next thing they hear is more study and more education, obviously it's a very negative mindset that it puts them in. I will give you a comparison. Imagine if you go to work all day and when you come home, I tell you you need to do administration duties for free. No, it does not create a positive reaction or relationship with the idea of education and study. So change the words, say let's play games, let's play activities. You know that those games and activities are going to help them in their English studies, but you just don't say it. You just say, let's play games, let's play activities. Find the games that they love, find the things that they love and do them together. Let's play hangman, you know? So, and you need to have that level of enthusiasm to pass into them. You know, if you go, oh, let's play games, that's also going to come across negatively. So make sure your energy is correct. Yes, let's play a bit of games. Come on, 10, 15 minutes, let's do this. So choose your words wisely, guys. Stay away from the things that they're doing every day at school and choose things that they really want to love. I don't know kids who don't want to play games. That's why I created lots of games. I also write stories and use stories in my education because kids love stories. Most of them do anyway. So these are things that they really enjoy. Imagine the difference of me saying, let's study English or let's read a story together to a kid who loves stories. So use this to your benefit. Think about what you're saying in your communication with your children very carefully. It will make a huge difference. How do I build a good relationship with students? Well, the best thing that I've ever really done is that I talk to my students about my stressful experiences if I expect them to talk to me about their stressful experiences. Now, when I was at school, I went through bullying. I was also a bit of a rebel. I didn't listen very much to the teacher, and I was pretty much a joker. I was always joking around in class. And that's because I had the identity of being the joker. And I thought that for people to like me, I needed to make jokes all the time. Now that came to the serious cost of my education for some years, but at the age of 14, I had no idea. I had absolute zero idea that I had the identity of being the joker and how it was affecting my education. It took me a long time afterwards to discover why and how. But this came after a lot of personal work. There are not many people talking to children in a way that helps them see the identities that they're developing and how it's affecting their personality. So if you want your child to communicate about maybe difficult things at school, you need to model that behavior with them. So if you're expecting your child to talk about something difficult at school, or that their behavior is a little bit off in school and they're not concentrating and maybe they're distracting other kids or they're being distracted, then you need to think about their situation and what it's like for them at the moment. So what I do is I talk to them about my experiences at school and I tell them how I was at school. You can't talk to them about what's going on at work because kids don't know work. They only know what's happening at school. That's their life. They don't have other experiences. So you need to speak about the experiences from school for them to understand. And it's okay to be honest, but you need to also be able to talk about the consequences. I tell the kids how it affected my identity to think that I had to be the joker for people to like me, and how it took me years to get rid of that identity and how it seriously affected my education until I managed to change my identity around that. This is a way of modeling to children how to communicate their emotions and how to show when they do things wrong, because they don't have very many models of people doing this. So give them that model. In English, well, actually, as all teachers, we have a phrase which is, don't expect your students to do something that you can't model first. So make sure you can model anything you want to do. If you want your children to sing a song, sing the song first. Show them the vulnerability it needs to sing the song. If you want your children to speak about the difficulties at school or about their behavior at school, speak about your difficulties at school and your behavior at school first and show them how it's done. This will really help your bond with your kids. This will really strengthen your relationship with them because it will bring a lot of honesty to the table. And kids love that. And once they see you expressing honesty, they will be a lot happier to give it back to you. And this will just naturally develop a very strong relationship with you and your kids. So good luck with that one. A lot of people ask me, how can I have deeper discussions with my kids? how can we talk a bit more about emotions and about things going on in the world? And this is a very good question, and something that luckily as a literature teacher I've been able to learn through many years of experience. Now, I love literature. I love stories. I don't know anybody who doesn't love a good story, whether it's a movie, it's a book, it's a comic, a song, a dance. There are just so many types of stories, and I love them all, but my favorite is literature. I write books, and what I love about literature is it presents us with the current themes or delicate subjects that are kind of happening at the moment, or things that are very popular with human behavior, and they present us a story of somebody else experiencing what most of us feel. Now, this is great, because if I ask you, how are you, how do you feel, what are your problems, you tend to curl up and get defensive because you feel vulnerable and exposed. But if I ask you to tell me your opinion on how you think someone else is doing, or how someone else is dealing with a situation, wow, blah, 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 you will start talking like a peacock. And that's where gossip arrives from, because we're so much more comfortable as humans about talking about other people. The funny thing is that when we talk about other people, we're also talking about our opinions and how we think on the situation or on the theme. So it allows us to discuss these deeper topics without having the ego feeling vulnerable. So stories are such a great way to do this, because you can look at what's happening in a story and talk about the opinion of what you would do in this situation, or how you would feel if you were that person. So we're changing the focus here from the I or you into he or she or they. And this allows me to talk about my emotions much more freely. And this is what you want to develop with your kids. So that's why, for example, on my website with my stories, I created a load of discussion questions about the characters. Because when you discuss about the characters, you're not discussing directly about you or about the person. And we become a lot more flexible in discussing our opinions in these situations. So try it out. Okay, even if you're watching a movie, if you're reading a book, try and produce some questions about what you think about that person's behavior, or what that person did, or if you felt something similar, or how you would feel if you were in that person's shoes. Check it out on my website if you're struggling for ideas, because there's loads of ideas there to help you and thinking about ways of creating interesting questions that don't focus on the individual but focus more on somebody else. And this will help you develop questions at home and conversations at home that will go into deeper topics about the more meaningful things in life. Another piece of advice that is actually difficult for some teachers too is really finding a way to be positive in your feedback and your corrections. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say that your son or daughter spells the word beautiful and they miss something in the word. And maybe they miss a letter, they miss an A or a U or something. Now, normally we jump straight to the error and we say, you missed a U or you missed an A. And this is a bit intense because English is very difficult for spelling and there's going to be many mistakes. So I just said one myself, there are going to be many mistakes. Now, please, even native people make mistakes. They're part of the language. So we need to stay away from correcting errors all the time. Or if we do make errors, or if you do recognize errors, with your children, You need to be focused on what they did well first and then what was wrong after. So let me give you an example. Let's say a child spelt the word beautiful incorrectly. Well, the first thing I do is I would recognize everything that they did correctly, and I say, wow, you spelt so much of this word correctly, but there's just one letter missing, just one. Everything else is great, everything else is fantastic, but there's just one little letter missing. Can you see what it is? Can you see how much more positive that is? Can you see how that would help someone and motivate them to look for the error after discovering all the things they did well first? So you can do this with everything. When you're looking at writing, make sure your mind first focuses on everything they're doing well. With speaking, with pronunciation, with anything. Focus on what's going well first and then look at what's going wrong afterwards, because it will give the motivation and it will rise the confidence and it will help them look for the mistakes naturally themselves. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Best of luck with helping your kids at home with their education. Sorry, I mean fun games and activities. Really enjoy it. Think about how you can have a smile on your face when you're learning with anything, because that's what makes it beautiful. Remember to make it important and focus on what your kids want, because that's what will get them involved. And that is my big dream of making education fun and meaningful. So if it's something that you would also like, then avatarenglish.com is so for you. So come check it out. Have a great day, guys, and I will catch you soon at avatarenglish.com.